It's tea time, positive tea time, and we are spilling all of it right here in this space created by two crazy, fun-loving besties. It's a no-judgment zone for sharing stories of hope, faith, love, growth, and most of all, grace and gratitude. So join us as we get ready to share some positivity and get a fresh perspective on life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Positivity, brought to you by Lloyd Tea. And today it's chai tea from Lloyd and Malango chocolates. And we have a super awesome, incredible guest today. Adzil Stuart this is Adzil, the man, the legend,
icon,
the myth, the
Thank
icon. Adzil, welcome.
Thank you. Don't let my head swell anymore.
Such a pleasure to have you with us
It's
today.
so nice to be here.
Great.
So Adzil has a really fantastic story. Adzil, has done so many things in his life, from working in the airline industry to makeup artistry to
Theology.
To Liberian that people don't know nothing about.
Oh, really? News to me too.
And throughout all of that, one of the things that is just always so constant about you is your positive approach to life, no matter the storm. So Adzil's the person you go to and you say, Adzil, I'm losing it. I can't figure out X, Y, Z. He'll say, child, sit down here. And then he'll give you one of his, famous sayings. Adzil, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I think y'all ladies doing a fabulous job with this.
Thank you, Adzil.
So I'm glad that I was chosen. I feel honored.
Well, we're honored to have you here.
But this journey, what can I say? From the beginning of time, I think it has a lot to do with your parents, really.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were very positive people. My father would have been what you would now call an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Back in them days, it was what people would call a shopkeeper.
Shopkeeper.
So I always make the little joke that I born at a bar, I didn't have to be called to one.
There goes one of the sayings right there.
So the situation is I had a lot of positive influence through both my parents, and my father in particular, because he was very widely traveled at the time. Because he went from World War One to the present day. When he died, he was 95 in 1990. Wow. So he transitioned through so many things. He lived in Cuba, he lived in Jamaica, the time of Bustamante, he lived in Guyana. Wow. He spoke Spanish fluently. My father, and then he did 20 years and 6 months in the Barbados police force. So what more you experience?
And he was a shopkeeper
and then he was a baker and a shopkeeper.
Wow, what fantastic.
So it was a real, I think that's where my grounding started from there. And I was always made to understand early. He said, you come to this world, there's one thing we come to this world knowing, that we have to leave. And everybody has a script.
Yeah.
Follow your script. Stop trying to look at somebody else's script. Because when God has given you an idea or given you whatever, he give it to you. So sometimes you have to be careful who you discuss these things with, because people will derail you. They will never see the moment that was given to you, the idea that was given to you. They don't understand it because it is not for them, it was for you. So what you need to do is my journey is that you build confidence. That's really positive. It's coming and know that, there ain't nobody better than you.
Yeah.
You're not here, to fit in. You're here to stand out.
It seems that he also talked about validation of self.
Yes.
You don't need external validation to validate your journey.
No, not at all. He was never, whatever you have, you work with it and you will go, it will take you to where you have to go. And if it ain't for you at this point in time, relax, move on, or wait, because your cycle will come for that time to shine however you're supposed to shine. So I started from that point. And the next area, he also taught us to never judge people.
Oh.
Never judge people.
Great advice.
Because you don't know today for me, tomorrow for you. Don't judge people. And I find that we do so much of that nowadays. We always in people's business, in other words, and accept people where they are. We are all God's children. Accept them where they are and work with them. And different people come to you for different reasons. And that was, all kind of people come to me with different problems. And I figure, well, if the Lord said, then let me find out what he can do.
Yes.
It's some of them he's saying to teach me a lesson.
Yeah.
Some he's saying for me to help them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just be trying to figure out what it is I gotta do here.
Yeah.
So let me sit down and listen. Because the greatest thing in life is to listen. Another thing he said to me, if people were not supposed to learn from their own life experiences, the only people that would have had problems on this earth is the first set. All the rest would have listened.
Right.
People do not listen.
Listen, yeah.
So I try to listen to people wherever possible and try not to be judgmental and see how you can help them. You can't help everybody. So the ones that you can do something for, you do, and the ones that you don't, because some people are quite comfortable where they are.
Yeah.
So sometimes you leave them where they are. All you can do is to pray for them and go ahead.
Yeah.
My mother now, who was the spiritual person, she brought us up in the church and in the, everything. So you went along. That is probably what led to, I guess, jump forward now. That is what led to the last thing that I've done on my bucket list, which is studying theology at Codrington College, because that was always on my bucket list from the beginning. So only people that knew me well would have known that.
Wow.
So when I finally went to Codrington in 2015, everybody said, well, finally. My brother said to me, your mother must be smiling in heaven because she finally you decided to do something. Yeah. So, but I went there out of curiosity. Because you go into the church system and into the Christianity system, and they teach you certain things.
Yeah.
And we all know the history of that. Some of the things that were written were either rewritten to suit the time, to suit the period and stuff like that. Yeah. I really was unhappy with all of that. Because a lot of people take the Bible literally, and that's why they go about saying certain things. Because you find some preachers and other people that are fundamentalists will pull certain excerpts from a book and they will create a whole story around it. But when you read that, or you go back and read the whole book, what the story that they presented, it didn't mean that at all. It was a whole totally different thing. So I said, no, I need to go and find out for myself. So that is what took me to Codrington College.
What was that journey like, though? Filling a bucket list, but the journey of having done something that you knew you always wanted to do. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned a lot. That really centered me.
Wow.
Because there were things in life that were very you were unsure about.
Yeah.
Because everybody have the moments where some days you don't know if you're going forward, coming back. You want to throw your hand in the air, you don't know what to do. And you feel depressed about everything, like everything closing in on you, nothing is going your way and stuff. And I think what all of us need is a spiritual grounding.
Yes.
So when I went to Codrington College, it did that. Because what they do, they unmake you. All the mythical things that you would get. So there's a great difference between Christianity and spirituality.
Yes, there is.
So they
Absolutely.
totally got to undo some of the untruths and everything, and then they build you back. So once you've learned to exegesis those gospels and scripts, you will never look at life the same way again, trust me. It brings a certain calm to the situation and understanding that this is a journey. This life is a journey. We are all God's children. We are here to help each other. It's like a big factory.
Yeah.
And all of us are different cogs in the wheel. And nobody is too small, the next body is too big. Everybody is supposed to work together. So God sometimes put people together for a reason. So you don't discount people, you don't look down on people, because look at his journey. He could have called all the wisest people and all kind of thing. But you look at his disciple, who wasn't a thief, was a murderer, was a then he picked somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think people look at it that way, but he picked what we would call now the salt of the earth.
Right.
Saul on the road to Damascus, he began to kill all the Christians. And he had his aha moment when he rode to Damascus.
Yeah.
And he came back and be Paul and was totally a changed person and wrote all these books to the Thessalonians and Corinthians and to everybody else. So,
So humility is important.
You look at life as that is what it is, and that it was a history book. But the same life prevails now. The Holy Spirit is still here. When God left this earth, he asked us to do one thing. And you know what that was? Love each other.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. This world now don't have a lot of love in it.
Yeah. We're trying to kind of like spread some of that in the world.
Yeah, that's why I tell you, positivity.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. May it continue to grow and flourish.
Continue to grow.
And it sounds like humility was also a very important part of your journey,
Yes, it
learning
was.
how to understand humility as
Right.
well.
So you first have to understand yourself, oneself. You have to understand where you come from. You need to do your history. You need to do your research. Even in family research, it's sometimes certain things happen in families, and when you drill down, you realize it is a buildup of things that would have happened before, you know, over a period of time. So sometimes you just have to learn, and in some cases, you just got to learn how to break the curse.
Yeah.
Because you have to say, well, okay, my father did this or my great grandfather did that. I am not doing this. So at some point, you have to decide that you were the one person to come to stop that. Because people always say that, oh, this body is a product of the grandfather or a product of this. No, you come as a separate entity. You are who you are and who you're called to be. So if you just listen to what was in your head, so sometimes you have moments, although you help people, like crises need a moment sometimes to go and sit down by yourself somewhere, cut off the phones and everything, because if you mind the technology now, you will go crazy. Cut off the phones and everything and just have a moment with yourself. Just sit down and listen. Just do nothing. Because there's a lot in doing nothing. People figure, oh, no, they're wasting so much time. No, sometimes you learn more just sitting quiet and doing nothing. So sometimes you have to do that for a while. For it to, when you hit a wall, for it to resonate, and then you say, okay, I can get up and move from here. You need, it's like recharging the battery.
So, okay, we've gone to this part with the theology, and I know that you spend a lot of time helping people now today. You counsel a lot of people.
Yeah.
Before that, you know, your career,
My career would have started after I left school.
right?
What I mentioned, the drop in there just now, I did library. Funny
Yes,
enough,
librarian.
it ended up that I did library. And I had interned at the public library at that time under Betty Correa, may she rest in peace.
Oh, Mrs. Shannon.
Yes. So and I would have been with some great site Brewster, who was the bookbinder. So I learned all of that.
Right.
So
And then after that,
after that, I went on to doing a bit of sales and marketing, not for a long period. And then there I went into the airline industry.
Really?
And that's where I served the greater part of my existence was the airline industry. And that was, I think that was me. You interact with people, everything I learned, I could have used to solve issues. And you had to be able to think quick on your feet. Because you have an aircraft on the ground, there's a problem. And you got X amount of time to turn it around. So sometimes you have to think on your feet. You have to think ahead. You know, there are instances, times we had aircrafts coming in with problems. I remember, I can give you a short story. One night, we had a British Airways in the height of our winter season. We had a British Airways jumbo. Left here with 400 and, can't remember what was the other, about 410 or something was the seat. And every seat full on the way to London. So we normally would wait an hour after departure, which was stipulated before we leave the airport, in case the pilot has a problem and he has to come back. When I tell you the hour passed, we pack up, shut up the place and left. Gone home. But there wasn't a cell phone in them days. So by the time I made the last drop, because I lived the furthest, by the time I got to my house, my mother was with the light on, standing and waiting. You have to go back. You have to go back. I said, what happened? They called from the airport. They said the aircraft coming back. You have to go back. Because he had cleared Antigua. But the captain decided he ain't going back to Antigua. He coming back to Barbados. They had a problem with the engine. So now I had to now take the driver. I'll go back to everybody's house. I'll wake them up and tell them, come, we all go back.
yeah.
So then we had to launch in. When we went back, then we had to make customs, everything. All the time he coming back, setting up everything. Like customs on the flight when he coming back, people gonna be getting off. Height of the tourist industry, so we got to find hotel rooms for these people. So we calling hotels, waking up people. Paradise at the time tell me they got X number of rooms, but they ain't got no maid service to thing. I said, well, you can find somebody, or if anything, you can come down there and make the beds myself. So
that is service. That is service.
That is service. And that is when service was at a level, and we hop in there and had everybody organized, had police and everybody, immigration, because the police officer was the immigration officer there. Everybody was on standby. When that flight hit the tarmac, it was like operation. Everybody come up, the bags got the line crewmen to work with you. Everybody used to work together. People pick out, we tell them, don't carry all the bags, just pick out what you really need. And we had the taxi man, call the taxi man, they'd phone taxi man and had them line up, and we sending them out. When 8 o'clock in the morning, there was 2 people left, a gentleman and a lady, had 1 room. And the rest of the officer, but Adzil, what we gonna do? I says, watch me. I go, they called it to them, I say, excuse me. We have a problem. You're tired and I'm tired. There's only 1 room that's left. But you all be interested in sharing the room. I know you're a man. And she's like, what's the position here? I said, at that point in time, they didn't care. And he told them, this is Adzil, you're brave. I said, but you gotta be brave sometimes. Sometimes God put you in positions that you have to, we gotta step out and do that. So, you know, and that is what service, the kind of service that I was used to.
Ooh, some good tea was spilled today. Tune in next week for part 2.